Hi, I'm Simon from Sailing Britain, and we help people become more confident cruisers. And today I'm going to tell you about what I look for when I leave one place and go to the next. So this is what I do. Before I leave, what I do is I plan my route. Once I've looked at the weather, I plan my route and I'm finding out what obstructions are, if there's any reefs, if there's any cardinal markers, any special markers, anything on that route that I should pay particular attention to. I use my plotter, my iPad and any cruising guides of the area that I'm in. Okay, so we've just left Grand Cass, we've put the sail up, we've just got a little bit of jib out and we're sailing to the next bay. Now I'm looking around to find out what's our dangers. There's a little reef over there, but we've passed that. So once we're moving along, I pay particular attention to known hazards like reefs and everything that's going along, but also anchored boats and especially moving boats. So how soon do I start paying attention to any moving boats? As soon as I see them, I find out if they're moving away or coming towards me and how close they are going to come to me if they're moving in our direction. And there's two boats coming up to us and I've got to figure out who has the right of way. And it's all changing at the moment because the catamaran has now put both sails out. There's a monohull coming, he's motoring, so he is a motorboat even though he's a sailboat, so we don't have to worry about him. But the catamaran is sailing. Now there's a port tack and a starboard tack. We are on a port tack because our wind is coming over the port side and hitting our sails. He is on a starboard tack. So that means that he has right of way, technically. So who has right of way? I'm not going to go into big details because I could spend a long time on it. What it is, if it's a sailing boat has right of way over a motorboat. If you're both sailing, it all depends on what tack you are. Now the tack is either a starboard tack or a port tack. And that means that the wind is coming over this side of the boat, which is the left side, which is the port side, or the wind hits the right side of the boat and it's coming over from the right side. That's a starboard tack. Now a starboard tack is a stronger, so technically the starboard tack boat has right of way over a port tack. Now if they're both on either a port tack or a starboard tack, that means they're fairly equal, so it's whichever one is closest to where the wind is coming from, that has to give way to the other boat. But do the other people know this? Probably not. So what I always do is I always find out that they don't know anything about it, they're asleep or whatever. So I avoid them. I make sure that I get out the way even if I have right of way. And I feel that that is just the safest way to be. So I'm not having a go at any sailor here. All I'm trying to do is, there's certain people out here that have just got a boat and they're probably really concentrating on how to make it sail and they just sometimes maybe forget what's around them. They might be chartering a boat and this is the first time they're chartering a boat and they probably don't know. I just make sure that maybe they're not there. I always say to people, imagine they're asleep and then get out their way. So that's what we do. But he's going to go over to that way. The motorboat, the sailboat that's motoring is going to go that way, so we're going right through the middle. All I'm looking at, there's a little sailboat out over there, but he's going a long way away and I can't see anything else. Is you look as far away as possible and make sure that you know what they're doing, because they might be coming up to you really quickly. There might be a fast motorboat or even a very fast sailing boat. So you always need to be on the lookout for other boats. And I don't know what that naked boat is, but
it's big.
It's big. He's waving at us.
And we got the catamaran here that's passing on the other side.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the boats. I'm looking at my chart plotter. I'm just seeing where the reefs are. Always on the lookout. So as soon as I see a boat, I look at it. Right. Is it sailing away from us? Is it sailing towards us? I'm trying to determine on that by visually. If I know that it's coming towards us, there's two ways that I can find out if it's going to get close to us, and that's AIS, which is Automatic Identification System. Now you can look at that, and the AIS system will tell you which way the boat is going, how fast it's going, and also there is CPA, which is closest point of approach. Now that might be 1.2 miles, 2 miles, which then I'm not too worried about, but sometimes I've had it down to 3 meters and I really need to worry about that. If it's really close, and I'm saying like, you know, hundreds of meters, 0.3 of a mile, half a mile, I'm going to keep a real close eye of it. If it's a ship, a motorboat or something, I know that it's going to approximately keep going at that speed and probably in that direction. If it's a sailboat, sailboats go 6 knots, 4 knots, 2 knots, 8 knots, 9 knots, and they're moving around because of the wind. So I know that I have to keep an extra eye on them because they're changing all the time. There is the second way. If a boat doesn't have AIS, and there's lots of boats out there, I just use my stanchion trick. What I'm looking about is to see where there's any boats. Now I see there's a boat right over there in the distance. He's just putting his sail up, and so I'm going to think he's coming this way, and I've got to figure out, is he going to get really close to me, or is he just going to go way past me and not be an issue? I'll look on AIS to see if he's on AIS, and if he is, that's fantastic, makes my job really easy. He will tell me how close he's going to be to me. If they don't have any AIS, what I can do then is, as long as I stay in the same position, I look at the boat, which is over there, and what I'm going to do is find out how close he's going to get to us. He's not on AIS. How can I do that? So I position him where I've got him now. I stand in the same place. I see that he's over there, and I find a point on this boat which is fixed, and then I look at it and go, right, it's on that stanchion there. And then I start looking around, see if there's anything else. About 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, I'll look to see if he's in exactly the same place. It means that he's coming towards us and we're coming together, and we're going to be very close. If he is moving this way or that way down the boat, it means that we're going to miss. So at the moment, he's still in the same position on the stanchion that I'm using as a marker, so we're going to come back in a couple of minutes and see if he's anywhere different along the boat. A couple of minutes later, and I'm looking at the stanchion I was looking at, which is right behind the camera, but the boat is now past the next stanchion along. So that means that we're safe. He's moving along, he's moving away from us, and I don't really have to keep a massive eye on him, but I will do in case he tacks or jibes or moves and comes along. While I'm sailing along, I'm looking around all the time. I'm keeping an eye on him. He's moving out the way. I've got this boat which is next to me over here. He's a motoring. It's a sailboat, but he's motoring. I'm sailing. He has got to keep away from us, but you never know. So I'm constantly looking. It's a beautiful day for sailing. As you can see, we're really quite close to land, so I'm constantly on the lookout. There's lots and lots of boats around here. Most of them are anchored. When we're in open water and there's no boats around, we can relax a little bit more. We're doing a little bit more talking and just chilling out and enjoying the sail. But at the moment, I'm constantly watching. Okay, so this is just a real basic insight to what I'm looking for, and I get all the crew to look for when we're out sailing. Okay, so I don't know if you know this already, but I've been doing sailing experiences here on Brinican for the last 3 years here in the Caribbean, and they're all fully booked. But in May this year, we are going to move the boat from here in St. Martin up to Rhode Island, and it's going to be a 10-day passage, possibly more, but there's going to be experiences of provisioning, getting the boat ready, passage planning, weather routing, and once we get going, it's going to be trimming, night watches. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. We had places for 6, 3 places are already been taken, and there's 3 left. So if that you have some experience and you want to gain more, you want to gain mileage, you want to do some night sailing and just have a great experience, why don't you come and have a look and see if it's for you. So the link is down below, and Kim put a page up around here for you. Thanks for watching. The next video is how to pick a place where to anchor in an anchorage.